and the aggregate supply. And this is a very interesting thing to understand because probably at some point in your life you have to work with some of those concepts in your real life. So here, the real GDP desired at each price level is a schedule of or curve that shows the various amounts of real domestic output that domestic and foreign buyers desire to purchase at each possible price level. I am competing with my friends over this side of the classroom, so I need your whole attention. I was saying that before, because if not, you should be going to have a competition, and I don't want to win that. I have to get your attention. Okay? Thank you. So the inverse relationship is an inverse relationship since there is no substitute for everything. We don't have substitutes for every product, correct? We don't have that. Some things are going to be substitutes, some others are not going to be substitutes. So income effect also doesn't apply in the aggregate case, since income now varies with aggregate output. Real balance effect, when price level falls, the purchasing power of existing financial balance rises, which can increase spending. And this is an inverse relationship again. Interest effect, a decline in price level means lower interest rates that can increase levels of certain types of spending. And the foreign purchases effect, when price level falls, other things being equal, ceteris paribus, US prices will fall relative to foreign prices, and this is the best time to see the people from foreign countries coming in to buy a lot of the stuff because their money is with high value. They have a lot more ways to buy more because their currency values a lot more against our currency, okay? It's something that you have to know. Any questions? Did you understand all of that?
Yes.
Okay. Now, we have the aggregate demand curve. This is the depiction of an inverse relationship or negative relationship between the price level, which is on this axis, and the amount of real output, which is on that other axis. Okay, so we can see how the aggregate demand is going, but it's going to be positive because it's shifting to the right. Okay, take pictures. Then we have changes in aggregate demand. We have the determinant of aggregate demand and chief factors affecting which are consumption, income, government, and exports, net exports. All of them are going to be working together. So we have to consider all of those chief factors going to the right or going to the left. Two components involved are the change in one of the determinants from those four and the multiplier effect. Take notes. Changes in aggregate demand. We have some other things happening here. We have the price level axis over the horizontal. We have the real domestic output. And we have AB1, which is the aggregate demand curve at this level. But we see other things going on. We have to see changes going to the right, shifting to the right from AB1 to AB2, and other things moving back from AB2 to AB3. What do you understand from those relationships over here? From 81, we have changes. Those dot lines, the meaning is changes happening. And we have those beautiful arrows shifting to the right. Those are shifting to the left. What is going on with the aggregate demand? Is shrinking or is growing? Growing from the 81 to the 82?
Yes.
And what happened between 82 to 83? Shrinking. Because the determinants. Consumption was less, sometimes at some point. We can see some shrinking on this specific situation. If we see income levels that are shrinking, we are not really in this position to see the people buying more because they don't have that power, and so on. So government policies, if they decide to invest more into our economy with fiscal or monetary policies, they are going to expand more. You can see more shifting to the right. Make sense? Good. Consumer spending. Take notes, take notes, take notes. Consumer wealth is the difference between the household assets, their homes, stocks, bonds, and liabilities, or the negative part between the loans and the credit cards and the lines of credit. Also, we have the household borrowing, which is not bad, but we have to have some control over this. Households can borrow in order to spend more, which increases their aggregate demand. And if the household reduces spending in order to pay off household debt, this is something that will be affecting the GDP also. Consumer expectations. We are always talking about consumer expectations. And expectation of future higher incomes. People want to make more money, of course. And or higher prices will increase current household spending and aggregate demand. Expectation of lower household spending or lower prices will decrease their aggregate demand. Because if the people doesn't have enough money, they're not going to buy and spend more. It is something that is just common sense. Makes sense? Sorry. At the last part, personal taxes is a reduction in personal income taxes, increases disposable income, and increases spending by the household. But what happens when the government is going to raise their tax rates?
People are going to be less likely to buy stuff.
People have been not been able to spend more because the government was taking part of their money because of taxes. We can't do anything against that, correct? We have to comply with that, always. Investment spending, we have the interest, the real interest rates. What is the real interest rate? The word real, what that means? Considering the inflation rate.
Yes.
Okay, adjusting for inflation. And then we have some expectations about returns, correct? We would like to see our money growing more, but you guys know now about the rule of 70, correct? Which is a powerful rule. You know how long it takes to double your money, which is amazing to know. Expectations about future business conditions. If you have, for example, you guys have businesses, and you was feeling so depressed yesterday because you make so low money, not a lot more, and you was trying harder, and you was trying to keep up with everything.
It wasn't, I didn't make that. It's not that bad.
It's not that bad?
It's not that bad.
Oh, great!
I'm just not doing that.
He's still depressed though.
Maybe you are not pushing enough. That is the point. Probably sometimes we are just, feeling that, oh, I'm doing great, but not so great, because we are just thinking that we have that opportunity and we were doing good and we feel it's good enough. Okay, I don't have to do more. But instead of that, we should be pushing a little more, because we need to push our own businesses to keep going. If not, they are not going to be successful. Then technology, we need technology. If not, we are not going to be competitive. And the degree of excess capacity. So sometimes we are making a lot more and not many people are interested in our products or services. Sometimes that happens. But don't be afraid, just, take a break and just rethinking your type of business and make some changes, and things should be going to be better. Then the business taxes is something that you have to keep in mind, because they are going to take a part of your, gains and finance and all of that. Government spending increases, the aggregate demand increases as long as interest rates and tax rates do not change. What is going on now in our nation? I heard that President Trump was spending a lot more money with our military, which is great, because I feel that our military area was abandoned over the past 8 years, which was really not so good. I don't want to say so bad, but it was not so good. Anyway, so now the things are just changing, but he was asking to the Fed to see, lower interest rates and all of that things to try to keep the economy going, and doing great. But at some point, we can have some other problems, because people is going to have more money in their hands, but we can have some inflation in about a couple more months, probably, in our panorama. So we can have other problems. Maybe at some point we could be going to see a recession also. We have over here more transportation projects, so the government should be going to say, well, we have to renew our roads, we need more bridges to communicate between different cities, and they are putting hands on, and they are spending a lot more. Government spending decreases sometimes. Instead to increase, they should be saying something, no, we are not going to spend more, we have to stop by this. So the aggregate demand decreases, and sometimes they should be going to say less military spending should be happening, and they are stopping every kind of fiscal policy or some type of budgeting for expending. They're saying sometimes, no, we are not going to expend any more money. And those are policies. Net export spending, national income abroad. So we can have contact with very different nations and with foreign nations to make many different type of businesses, and we can have our national income abroad, because we can sell some stuff to different parts of the world, including Canada, China, including Europe and other parts of the world, and we can see some exchange rates. So we can see how our currency is sometimes very strong and sometimes it's so weak. And depending on what is going on, if we have to see our dollar depreciation, it's a good time to see other countries coming in to buy a lot more stuff from us instead to sell more, because their currency is stronger than our currency. But sometimes we have our dollar appreciation, and we have more chances to be in touch with other countries to buy more stuff from them, okay? So the currency is something that is powerful and should be changing depending on what is going on in our government, in our communities, or in our central government, and depending on the president's policies. Aggregate supply, total real output produced at each price level. So sometimes we can see the total output or GDP at some point, depending on the price levels. We can see price 1, price 2, and we can see the outcome shifting to the right or shifting to the left, depending on what is going on. And depending on the prices, on the price levels. And you have to know that price levels are so meaningful and important. Everything is connected to price levels. No matter what you are going to do, everything has a cost and everything has a price. It's no free lunch, remember that. Then the relationship depends on time horizon. We can see things happening at short run, at very immediate time, at short run, and a long run, on a long run. So we had the immediate